It was still dark outside when I heard loud knocking on my front door. I checked the clock, 5:02 a.m. No one knocks at that time unless something serious is happening. I pulled on a sweatshirt and walked to the door, my heart beating fast. When I opened it, my next-door neighbor, Gabriel Stone, was standing there. His face looked pale, and he was breathing hard, like he had run the whole way. "Don't go to work today," he said in a low, urgent voice. "Stay home. Please, just trust me." I stared at him, confused. Gabriel was always quiet, polite, and kept to himself. He had lived in the neighborhood for a year but rarely spoke to anyone. Seeing him like this, shaken and frightened, felt wrong. "What are you talking about?" I asked. "Did something happen?" He shook his head, but the look in his eyes warned me. "I can't explain right now. Just promise you won't leave the house today. No matter what." The whole moment felt unreal. The cold morning air, the soft pink light of the rising sun, and my usually calm neighbor now looking like he was about to break down. I took a breath. "Gabriel? You're scaring me. Why shouldn't I go?" He paused. Then whispered, "You'll understand by noon." Before I could ask more, he stepped back, scanned the street like someone might be watching, and hurried back to his house. He didn't look back. I stood there, my hand still on the door, thoughts racing. The logical part of me said he was imagining things. Maybe he was stressed. Maybe he was losing it. But another part of me, my instinct, told me not to brush this off. And I had another reason to take him seriously. 3 months earlier, I lost my father. He died suddenly. They said it was a stroke. But right before his death, he kept trying to tell me something important. Something he said I needed to know about our family. Every time I asked, he said only, "It's time you learned." But he was gone before he could explain. After that, strange things began happening. A car with dark windows parked near my driveway for hours. Calls from blocked numbers with silence on the other end. My sister Sophie, who lives abroad, asking me if I had noticed anyone new around my house. No one said anything directly, but I felt it. Something was happening around me quietly and on purpose. My name is Alyssa Rowan. I'm 33, a financial analyst at Henning & Cole Investments. I've never missed work unless I was sick. I live alone in my grandmother's old house. My life is usually simple and routine. But today wasn't routine. I decided to stay home, not because I was scared, but because it made sense. If Gabriel was wrong, I'd just take a personal day. If he was right, I might be saving my own life. I messaged my manager, saying I had a personal emergency. Then I waited. The hours dragged. Every sound in the house felt louder, the kitchen clock ticking, the humming fridge, even the wind felt unsettling, like it was whispering through the walls. By 11:30 a.m., I felt silly. Nothing happened. Gabriel didn't come back. Maybe I really was overthinking. Then my phone rang. A number I didn't know. I answered, expecting spam or my manager. Instead, a calm, firm voice said, "Ma'am, this is Officer Taylor with the county police. Are you aware of the incident at your workplace this morning?" My stomach tightened. "What incident?" The officer sighed. "There was a violent attack in your building. Several employees were hurt. According to our records, you were present." My whole body went cold. "That's impossible. I wasn't there." A moment of silence. Then he said, "We have footage of your car arriving at 8:02 a.m. Your work ID was used to enter. Security reports say you were last seen on the 3rd floor." My legs nearly gave out. Someone had used my identity. Someone wanted people to think I was there. Someone wanted me blamed. If you want to know what the police told me next, and what my neighbor was trying to save me from, subscribe now and comment where you're watching from. Because what happened at noon didn't just change my life. It showed me I was never supposed to survive today. The officer continued, "Your coworkers reported seeing you. We have your key card logs. We have video of your vehicle in the garage." I pressed the phone to my ear. "I've been home all morning. I didn't go anywhere." Another pause. Then he asked a question that chilled me. "Can anyone verify that?" I looked around my empty living room. The silence felt heavy. "No," I whispered. "I live alone." The officer's tone stiffened. At 11:47 a.m., an emergency alert went off on the third floor. "You were reported missing. We need you located for safety and questioning." "Questioning?" I repeated. "Why?" Another pause, longer this time. "We found evidence in the building. Items belonging to you." My mind went blank. Items belonging to me. Then I remembered Gabriel, his pale face, his shaking hands. "Don't go to work today." This wasn't random. Someone planned for me to be involved, either as a victim or as the one to blame. "I'm telling you, I wasn't there," I said shakily. "Someone must have copied my key card." Then a horrible thought struck me. My car. "Did you see who got out?" The officer said quietly, "The footage is corrupted. We can't see the face. Only your plates." My pulse sped up. Whoever did this either used my car or one that looked exactly like it. My identity wasn't only stolen, it was replaced. I glanced out the window. Was someone watching me right now? The officer added, "Units will be arriving shortly. Do not leave the house." I hung up, fear flooding my chest. If Gabriel warned me to stay home, and someone pretended to be me, then maybe the police weren't coming to protect me, maybe they were coming to take me. I shut all the blinds and locked every door. My breathing was uneven. My thoughts jumped back to the odd things from the past weeks: a man in a suit sitting in a car watching my house, strange emails asking if I'd be at work, the feeling that someone had been in my home. It wasn't paranoia. It was preparation. Then a knock at my door. Not panicked. Not soft. A firm, controlled knock. I froze. Another knock. Then a voice. "Alyssa, it's Gabriel. Open the door. We need to talk." My chest tightened. I stepped toward the door but didn't open it. "How did you know the police would call?" I asked. His voice stayed steady. "Because they're not coming to help you. They're coming to take you into federal custody. You weren't supposed to wake up in your bed today." My head spun. "What do you mean?" "They staged the attack to remove everyone in the building," he said. "You weren't supposed to be a victim. You were supposed to be the one they blamed. And now they need you alive long enough to confess." A cold truth washed over me. They didn't want me just gone, they wanted me rewritten as the villain. And whatever was supposed to happen at noon, Gabriel added, was never about the building. It was about you. I opened the door slowly, not because I fully trusted him, but because I trusted fear even less. His eyes locked onto mine the moment he stepped inside. Without asking, he closed the door and spoke quickly. "They're already on their way. You have minutes before they get here and turn this place into a crime scene." My hands shook. Why? Why me? What is this?" He didn't answer right away. He checked the window, scanned the street, then lowered his voice. "Alyssa. I didn't move here by accident. Your father sent me to watch over you." The words hit me hard. I stepped back. My father? No, my dad was just an accountant, a normal man. Gabriel looked me straight in the eyes. "Your father never worked in finance. That was a cover. He spent nearly 20 years in a covert federal investigation. And you were part of the reason." My mouth dried. "What does that mean?" Gabriel pulled a small black envelope from his jacket. Your father knew this would happen someday. He left this for you. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten note. Alyssa, if you're reading this, then the danger I feared has come. You are not at risk because of anything you did, but because of who you are. There is more to your identity than you know. Gabriel will explain the rest. Trust him as you trusted me. Do not surrender yourself. If they take you in, you will disappear. Dad. My knees weakened. He knew. All those times he told me there were things I wasn't ready to know. They weren't dramatic. They were warnings. Gabriel met my eyes. They're not only framing you, he said quietly. They're reclaiming you. Reclaiming? I repeated, my voice barely above a whisper. You were never just a civilian, Gabriel said. Your birth was not a coincidence. Your identity was constructed. Your father uncovered a classified biogenetic program, one tied to prominent families, influential bloodlines. When he refused to cooperate, he became a liability. His death was not natural. You were meant to be eliminated next. But they found a better use for you. My heart thundered. To use me as what? He took a step closer. As a scapegoat. They needed a narrative that would justify the next phase of their plan. A false flag event, a manufactured tragedy with you as the face of it. Of them all, realization burned through me. Every strange moment, every shadow I had ignored had been leading to this point. So all of this was staged to destroy my life, I asked. Gabriel's gaze was firm. Not just your life, your legitimacy. Once they declare you a national threat, they can seize every file connected to your father's investigation. They can erase the truth he died trying to protect. He reached into his coat again and this time pulled out a metal key card with a red emblem. This is access to a secure storage vault your father used. It contains encrypted files that name the people behind this operation. If you don't reach that vault before they reach you, everything your father died for will be buried forever. I stared at the key card in his hand, then back at the note from my father. My entire life I had believed I was ordinary, replaceable, invisible. Now I understood the truth. I was never invisible. I was never replaceable. I was watched because I was the last piece of a puzzle someone powerful didn't want solved. Suddenly, the distant wail of sirens began to echo across the neighborhood. Gabriel looked toward the front window. They're here, he said. But he wasn't afraid. And for the first time since this morning, neither was I, because fear had something I no longer carried. Doubt. I folded my father's letter and placed the key card in my pocket. Then I looked at Gabriel and said, "Show me where we need to go." He nodded once. And in that moment, I crossed the line between the life I had always known and the truth I was born to face. We barely made it to Gabriel's SUV before the first unmarked black vehicles turned the corner and began closing in on my street. The sirens had stopped. They didn't need them anymore. They weren't coming as law enforcement. They were coming as recovery. "Get in," Gabriel ordered, starting the engine as soon as my door clicked shut. We shot forward, tires screeching. Through the rear window, I saw two men step out of a black sedan, scanning the area. One of them lifted a radio to his mouth. His expression cold and certain, like a man retrieving property, not a person, property. As we sped down the highway, a strange calmness came over me. Fear had left my body. What remained was clarity. Something inside me had turned. Like a key finally matching the right lock. After 20 minutes of silence, Gabriel spoke. "There's something you need to see before we reach the vault. Once you see it, you'll understand why they've been watching you your whole life." He reached into his jacket and handed me a tablet. A file was open on the screen labeled Rowan Alyssa. Subject 7B Designation Genomic Asset High Priority Project Origin Initiative. I scrolled down, my pulse quickening as I read, Gene Expression Chart. Blood markers not found in ordinary humans. A note: subject exhibits complete immunity to multiple viral strains. Potential regenerative blood properties. Subject approved for Phase 2 integration. Phase 2. I swallowed hard. What does this mean? Regenerative. Immune to what? Gabriel kept his eyes on the road. 20 years ago, your father uncovered a government-backed biogenetics program. They weren't trying to cure diseases. They were trying to create a new class of human beings. People with specific immune advantages who could survive outbreaks, chemical exposure, warfare. I stared at the screen, light flickering across my face as the truth began to settle like ash. My father was involved in this? I asked. He was never meant to be, Gabriel said. He stumbled across it when he discovered medical inconsistencies in your early childhood records. He found samples of your blood in places he didn't authorize. He realized you were being studied without his knowledge. He tried to pull you from the program, but that wasn't an option. The highway lights flashed past us like white comets. I could barely process the words. Me, a subject, a project, a target, Gabriel continued, his tone firm but controlled. Your father leaked the existence of the program to a federal oversight board. The board ordered the project shut down, but instead of ending it, the people at the top erased the investigation and everyone who knew. Everyone, including my father, I whispered. Gabriel nodded. They made it look like a stroke, but he was poisoned with a neurotoxin developed by the same program. His death was a message. I closed my eyes. For the first time, I didn't see my father as a quiet man with secrets. I saw him as someone who sacrificed everything to protect his child from the world she never knew she was born into. They planned to retrieve you on your 33rd birthday, Gabriel said. But something changed. Your profile was accelerated. Your blood test last month triggered a system alert. That's why they staged the attack at your workplace today. If you had gone, you would either be dead or disappeared, dead or erased. And now, I asked, they will frame you publicly, Gabriel said. Declare you a domestic threat, asset recovery protocol. I gripped the tablet tightly. But why frame me? Why not just take me quietly? Because they don't just want your body, Gabriel answered. They want control over the narrative. If the world believes you are dangerous, no one will question what they do with you. We turned off the main road and onto a forest path leading toward a remote facility. The trees grew dense, the air colder, my heartbeat steadied. I was no longer in the life I knew. I was in the one I was born for. As we approached what looked like an abandoned bunker hidden beneath an overgrown hill, Gabriel parked the SUV and turned to me. You have one last decision, Alyssa, he said, his voice quiet. Once you walk inside, there is no going back. You will know everything. Your father died to protect the truth about what you are. And once you know it, they will never stop hunting you. I met his eyes. I've been hunted my whole life without knowing why, I said. It's time I found out what's inside me that they're so desperate to control. Gabriel nodded. I stepped out of the vehicle. The door of the bunker groaned open as if waking from decades of silence. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't the end of my life. It was the beginning of the real one. The bunker door sealed shut behind us with a deep metallic thud that echoed through the chamber like the heartbeat of something ancient. The air was cold, untouched, as though this place had been waiting, not just for anyone, but specifically for me. Gabriel moved with certainty, entering a long corridor lined with steel safety doors. I followed him in silence, each step heavier than the last. The deeper we went, the more a strange sensation started building in my chest. Not fear, not anxiety, but recognition. My body knew this place, even if my mind did not. We stopped before a vault door with a circular emblem engraved into the steel, the Rowan family crest. My father had once shown me a drawing of it, telling me it belonged to distant ancestors. Now I knew the truth. It wasn't heritage. It was designation. Gabriel motioned to a small panel on the wall. "Your DNA will open this vault," he said. I hesitated. "How do you know?" "Because your father told me," he replied. "He said the vault will only recognize his bloodline, and you are the last." The last. It struck me that I wasn't just unlocking a door. I was unlocking the final secret of my family's existence. I pressed my palm to the scanner. A pulse of light ran along my skin. The vault emitted a soft chime, then slowly rotated open. Cold air spilled out, and with it came a scent that made my chest tighten: old paper, memory, and something else: home. The room inside was circular and lined with shelves of black boxes, each labeled with coded numbers. At the center was a glass pedestal, and on that pedestal, sealed inside protective casing, was a single leather-bound journal. My father's journal? Hands trembling, I lifted the casing and opened to a bookmarked page. There was a letter addressed to me in his handwriting. "My daughter, if you are reading this, then the lies surrounding your life have finally been stripped away. But what I need you to know above all else is this. You were never an accident. You were never property. You were the first successful proof that human immunity can evolve naturally. They did not create you. You were born with what they have spent decades trying to manufacture. It is not what was done to you that makes you powerful. It's what you already are. You are the future they fear." I closed my eyes as tears blurred the ink. My father didn't just die to protect me. He died to protect what I represented. Not a weapon, a hope. On the next page was a final instruction. "There is a decision only you can make. At the far end of this vault lies the master control terminal. One command will give them what they've always wanted: your compliance. The other will release every classified document tied to the Rowan Initiative to the public. Once you choose, the world will be changed forever." I looked at Gabriel. He didn't try to influence me. He simply said, "Your father trusted you to decide, not as a subject, but as a human being." My legs felt heavy as I approached the control terminal. 2 buttons glowed softly under glass. Acquisition Protocol signaling surrender. Revelation Protocol triggering public exposure. If I chose the first, I might survive, but at the cost of my freedom and the truth. If I chose the second, I would make myself the enemy of powerful people who had already killed to hide this secret. I pressed the second button. A low hum filled the chamber. A countdown appeared on the screen. Data began flooding onto secure channels preset by my father. Evidence, names, financial trails, all streaming to global media outlets, encrypted but traceable. There was no turning back. Gabriel exhaled. "It's done. You just changed the world." Suddenly, alarms blared. They had found us. Our time was up. But I was no longer afraid. For the first time in my life, I wasn't hiding behind what I thought was safety. I was standing in the light of truth. "We have to leave now," Gabriel said urgently. As we rushed toward the exit tunnel, my father's last words echoed in my mind. "You were not born to be controlled. You were born to reveal what control really is." We emerged into the cold night. Helicopters thundered above. Searchlights cut through the trees. But I no longer saw them as hunters. I saw them as the first wave of a dying lie. And I was no longer running from them. I was leading the fight against them because I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was becoming what my father had always believed I could be. Not a subject, not a victim, but the beginning of something entirely new. If you believe the truth should never be hidden, no matter how powerful the people trying to bury it are, make sure you subscribe right now and comment where you're watching from. Because this story is not the end.